hearing is called blasting, a high-pitched scream which followers of the controversial religious group based in North Carolina say can expel evil. But now some former church members are fighting against what they say is abuse aimed at both adults and children. Matt Mahar reports.
I had at least 1,000 sessions of being spanked from when I was 5 till I was 18.
Lacy Wien's life used to be centered around a church called Word of Faith Fellowship, headquartered in Spindale, North Carolina. But now she wants to reveal what she calls the dirty secrets of a church that she says emotionally and physically abused her for 13 years. In 1995, our hidden cameras documented a church practice called blasting, where children as well as adults are subjected to hours of ear-piercing verbal rebukes that are supposed to rid the body of demons. The member being blasted, like this boy in the red shirt, is surrounded by other members and screamed at for being a sinner.
They would blast babies, toddlers, children, adults, anybody.
Is it intimidating to be blasted as a child?
It is. It is. I just was scared, and I'm like, what have I done? What have I done to deserve this?
At age 8, she says she rebelled against the blastings, and because of that, she got in even more trouble.
I was resisting what God had for me, so I would go out and get a spanking for that.
So if you couldn't accept the blasting, you had to accept the spanking?
Yes.
You're laughing now.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, when I think back to it, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense to me.
Lacy was brought into the church at age 5 by her parents, and she and other former members say children would routinely be spanked into submission with a wooden paddle.
A lot of times it got to where they had to have other people come in and hold me down, hold my hands and my legs down, and just spank me until I would submit.
Lacy is now suing the church, claiming, among other things, that as a result of the assaults and batteries, she suffers severe back and spinal injuries.
I don't want to see other children grow up the same way I did.
After our hidden camera report about the church in 1995, North Carolina authorities investigated, but no action was taken.
We say every accusation has been entirely true, entirely untrue, no truth in it whatsoever.
Jane Whaley was one of the founders of the church, and according to former members, she is the all-powerful leader.
She says that she hears directly from God and speaks directly to God.
Whaley travels the world preaching and looking for converts. She lives at this estate near the church. According to Lacy, once you're in the church, she controls every aspect of your life. Where you live, where you work, who you marry. Lacy says most of the young people in the church are shut out from the rest of the world. And she didn't even know about the 9/11 terrorist attacks until a week after they occurred. So they don't want you to read newspapers?
No.
They don't want you to watch television news?
No radio, no nothing.
What about reading books?
No. The Bible.
No.
Listen to how Jane Whaley apparently handles a boisterous child during a church service in 1995.
You may need to take her out till she get into submission.
Lacy says that giving into submission will probably mean a spanking for that child just for crying out in church. Jane Whaley hasn't returned our repeated calls, but in court papers, the church has denied all allegations of abuse and stated the alleged activities constituted the church's free exercise of religion protected by the Constitution. A church representative referred us to lawyer Tom Hicks. When he didn't return our call, we caught up with him earlier this month at the county courthouse.
Turn it off, please. No, I'm asking you questions.
He didn't want to answer any of our questions.
No.
I wouldn't want my child in there.
Dr. Paul Martin runs a counseling center that has treated several former members of the church.
This kind of practice cannot be tolerated in a civilized society.
Lacy said when she turned 18, she wanted to break free from the church and sought the help of fellow member Reuben Wien. The two had secretly started a relationship and communicated by passing letters to each other.
I felt really bad for her.
In desperation, Reuben says he separated from the church, then rented a car and parked it in this lot across from Lacy's parents' house, hoping she'd notice him there.
He blinked his headlights at me, and I knew it was him. I grabbed my coat, I put my shoes on and walked right out the door. And I just said, let's go.
They married last year and say they want to get on with their lives, but only after they've helped the children who remain with the church.
I don't want them to be injured. I don't want them to be degraded and have the same fears and grow up and live their whole life not knowing that they could live another way.
Lacy's lawsuit against the church is expected to go to trial next year.